Good morning, students. Myself Anup Kumar, and it is my first video of this chapter 12, direct and inverse proportion. Students, in previous video, I have already explained about the exponents, okay, and I know that you are able to solve all the questions related to that, and that video was helpful for you also. So, in this video, we will discuss about the direct and inverse proportion. New chapter it is, okay. So now students, the topic of the today class is that we will introduce the variation and we will discuss about the direct variation also. Okay. So let's start the class. Now, variation. What is variation? Variation is also called proportion. If two quantities depend on each other in such a way that the change in first quantity affect another, then it is called invariation. Both quantity will be in variation or in proportion. Okay, so it has two types. Variation has two types. Okay, we can say variation has proportion also. So it has two types. What types? You can see here. It is direct variation and the second is indirect variation. We can also say direct variation as direct proportion. Okay, and indirect variation as inverse variation or inverse proportion. Okay, like this we can say. So today we will discuss about the direct variation first. So now in this slide you can see here direct variation. What is direct variation? Okay, you can see two quantities are said to be in proportion or in variation if whenever the value of first increases or decreases. If first increases, if the first quantity is increasing and second is also increasing, or if first quantity is decreasing and then second is also decreasing, both same, increasing then increasing, decreasing then decreasing. In that case we can say that it is in variation. And what variation? Direct variation. Okay, so what is the property? In that case both quantity will be, if x is the first quantity we will assume, y the other quantity, then these are in direct variation, and in that case we will divide the first quantity by the other. For example, if x1 by and y1 is the first quantity, x2 and y2 are the second quantity, x3 and y3 are the third quantity, and so on. So there, since all are in proportion and all are in ratio, it means their value will be same. If we will solve, their value will be same, and if all value will be same, then we can say that its value will be equal to a constant term. So here k is the constant term. K is the constant term. Okay. So here we will write, always keep it in mind that if any two quantities are in direct variation, then we will divide the first quantity by the other. Okay, always keep it in mind. Okay students, so I hope that you all have understood this property. Now, so students, let's see the examples. Here, if x and y are directly proportional, then find the value of x1, x2 and y2. These three values we have to find. You can see this table, x1, x2 and y1, that we have to find. Okay. Now, solution. Since it is clearly mentioned that x and y are directly proportional, x and y are directly proportional. So if directly proportional, it means we will divide the first quantity by others by the property x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2 is equal to x3 by y3. So by that property we can write 3 by 36 is equal to x1 by 60 is equal to x2 by 96 is equal to 10 by y. Okay. Now how can we find all four numbers are in ratio? So in that case we know, here you can see that 3 by 36, here in this question both numerator and denominator having, but in this numerator value is not given, here also numerator value is not given, and here also not denominator value is not given. So you can see that all the numbers, all the four ratio are equal, already given equal sign. It means we can take first one with the second one. It means if we will equal these two, if we will take only these two ratio, it means we can say when 3 by 36 is equal to x1 by 60. Now we can use cross multiplication method. We will multiply 36 with x1 and 3 by 6 into 60, and then we can say if we will take 60 to that side, then 60 in division, then it will go in multiplication with 3. So 3 into 60 and 36 will be downside. Now x1 is alone, so we can write like this. Now we have to solve it. 3 1 ja 3, 3 12 ja 36, 3 12 ja 36. Okay. Now 12 1 ja 12 and 12 5 ja 60. So now you can see that in denominator only 1 is there, no value, but in numerator 1 into 5 will be 5. It means its value will be 5. So the value of x1 will be 5. Same, again we will repeat, but in this case we have to find x2. So now we will take 3 by 36 and x2 by 96. So when 3 by 36 is equal to x2 by 96, again 96 we will take to that side. It will go with multiplication of 3. So now x2 will be 3 into 96 by 36. Let's solve this also. 3 12 ja and 12 9 ja 12 8 ja 96. So the value of x2 will be 8. Done. Now again when we will take 3 by 36 with 10 by y1. In that case again cross multiplication, then we will write y1 as 3 into y1, then 36 into 10, then 3 will go that side, then y1 will be alone. Now let's solve it. 3 1 ja 3 and 3 12 ja 36. Now only denominator is 1, so no value. So 12 into 10 will be 120, and this is the value of y1. Okay. So I hope that you all have understood, students. So now let's solve another question. A car covers 400 km in 25 liters of petrol. This is the what problem. So how much distance would it cover in 32 liters of petrol? So you can see what is given. There are two quantities. First, distance 400 km. Second is amount of petrol. So here you can see amount of petrol is already given. So there are two things. Amount of petrol, but only one quantity is 400 km. Second quantity we have to find. It means that here you can see that petrol, number of petrol is increasing. Quantity of petrol is increasing from 25 liters to 32 liters. In that case, let's see. So now we can say if amount of petrol increases. So simple, we have to think about this. That if we will fill more petrol in our car, in that case, what will be the change? If we will fill more petrol, in that case we will cover more distance. Simple it is. Okay. So yes, increases and it will also increase. So both increasing, same. It means it will be directly proportional. So now at first we will assume the required distance as x kilometer. Then we will draw a table. Here we can write distance in kilometer. When the distance is 400 km, then petrol 25 liters. But when the distance is x kilometer, then petrol will be 32 liters. In that case, since it is directly proportional, then we will divide 400 by 25 and x by 32, and both will be same. Now by cross multiplication we can write x is equal to 400 into 32 by 25. Now we can solve it. 25 1 ja and 25 16 ja 400, and 32 into 16, when we will multiply, then we will get the value of it at 512 km. So in 32 liters of petrol, the car will cover 512 km. Okay. Now students, let's solve another question. If 25 meters of cloth cost rupees 625, then how much cloth can be purchased for rupees 5000? You can see here that amount, it means cost is increasing. So if you will pay more, in that case you will buy more clothes. So again it is directly proportional. Okay. So we can say that if amount increases, then a person can buy more clothes. So it is directly proportional. So now we will assume the required length of cloth be x meter. In that case, length of cloth if 25, then the cost is 625. If cloth we have assumed length of cloth x, then their cost will be 5000. Again directly proportional. So we will divide 25 by 625 is equal to x by 5000. So it will be like this. Now we can solve it. 25 1 ja and 25 25 ja 625. Okay. And again 25 1 ja 25 and 25 20 ja 500. So x will be 20. The value of x will be 20 meters. It means a person can buy 20 meters if he will pay rupees 5,000. Okay. I hope that you all have understood, students. Okay. Now, so students, now you have to do some assignment work at your home. In R.S. Agarwal book, you have to complete exercise 12A, question number 1 to 8. And in NCERT book, you have to complete exercise 13.1, but only question number 4, 6 and 10. Okay students? So thank you.